Last week, a friend of mine, 78 years old, told me something that stuck. He said, "I go to bed tired, but I wake up feeling more exhausted." And he's not alone. If you're over 70 and struggling with sleep, waking up multiple times a night, or feeling drained in the morning despite going to bed early, it's not your imagination. Something real is happening inside your body. Sleep changes as we age. And while it might seem like just an inconvenience, poor sleep after 70 is more than just annoying. It can seriously affect your heart, your memory, your mood, and even your risk of stroke or cognitive decline. But here's the thing most people don't realize. It's not just about getting older. It's about the habits and conditions that silently make sleep harder without us noticing. You might be doing things right now every single night that are disrupting your rest and putting extra stress on your body. The good news? You can fix them. In this video, I'll walk you through 6 common reasons why people over 70 struggle to sleep, and the simple fixes that can make a real difference. Some of them are things you've probably done for years without thinking twice. But once you understand how your body responds differently now, you'll see just how much these small changes can improve your nights and protect your health. Stay with me, because the last tip is something most seniors overlook, and it could be the key to deeper, safer sleep. 1. Going to bed without a wind-down routine. A few years ago, I used to think sleep was as simple as lying down and closing my eyes. I'd finish watching the evening news, turn off the lights, and expect my body to just fall asleep. But more often than not, I'd end up lying there for hours. My mind would keep going, thinking about appointments, aches, bills, or just the silence itself. I'd toss and turn, get frustrated, check the clock every 20 minutes. And by morning, I felt worse than the night before. It wasn't until I mentioned this to a friend that she asked me a simple question. "What's your nighttime routine?" And the truth was, I didn't have one. I'd spent decades living on a tight schedule, raising kids, working, handling life. But now in retirement, I wasn't giving my brain any warning that it was time to slow down. What I didn't realize is that our bodies need time to transition into sleep mode, especially after 70. As we age, our internal clock, called the circadian rhythm, becomes more sensitive. That means stress, noise, screen time, or even bright lights in the evening can delay the natural release of melatonin, the hormone that signals it's time to rest. I started experimenting with small changes, turning off the TV at least 30 minutes before bed, listening to soft music or reading a calming book, dimming the lights around 8 p.m., drinking a warm, non-caffeinated tea, like chamomile. Writing down my thoughts in a small notebook to clear my mind. Within a week, I noticed a real difference. I wasn't falling asleep instantly, but I was falling asleep faster and staying asleep longer. That's when I realized going to bed isn't just about the time, it's about the transition. If you're someone who finds it hard to fall asleep, ask yourself, am I giving my body permission to rest or expecting it to shut off like a switch? And once you have a healthy wind-down routine in place, it's time to take a closer look at one of the most common sleep disruptors for seniors: drinking too much liquid before bed. 2. Drinking too much liquid in the evening. I used to think I was doing the right thing, staying hydrated, drinking water all day, even sipping a warm herbal tea before bed to relax. But night after night, the same thing happened. I'd fall asleep just fine, then wake up at 1:30, 3 o'clock, and again at 4:15, each time with an urgent need to use the bathroom. It wasn't just annoying, it was exhausting. Every time I got up, I had to fumble around in the dark, shuffle to the bathroom, and try not to trip or fully wake myself up. My heart would race, my balance felt off, and by the time I got back into bed, I was wide awake. At first, I thought it was just part of aging, but then I read something that changed everything. After 70, your bladder doesn't work the same way it used to. The muscles weaken, your kidneys filter differently, and even a small amount of fluid can make you feel like you need to go. What's worse, getting up too quickly in the night can cause a sudden drop in blood pressure, making you feel dizzy or even causing falls. That's exactly what happened to my neighbor, Ed. One night he rushed to the bathroom, got lightheaded, and fell. ending up in the hospital with a fractured hip, all because he had 2 big glasses of water after dinner. That's when I made a change. Now I start drinking most of my water earlier in the day. I taper off by 6 p.m., and if I'm thirsty later, I just take small sips. I also watch for hidden liquids, like soup or juicy fruits, and avoid caffeine and alcohol, which can make things worse. Since making this adjustment, I've been waking up less. My sleep is deeper, and I don't feel groggy in the morning. If you find yourself making multiple bathroom trips during the night, it might be time to rethink your evening routine. Not just what you do, but what you drink. Now let's talk about something else that quietly disrupts sleep: your bedroom temperature. Most people don't realize how dangerous a warm room can be after 70. 3. Sleeping in a room that's too warm. For years, I believed that a warm, cozy bedroom meant better sleep. Thick blankets, flannel pajamas, heater on full blast in the winter. It felt comforting, safe, familiar. But over time, I noticed something strange. Even when I went to bed tired, I'd wake up several times a night, sweaty, restless, and sometimes even short of breath. I'd toss off the blankets only to pull them back on again an hour later. And by morning, I felt drained. I thought it was just age. But then I heard my friend Carol mention something at our weekly book club. Did you know sleeping in a hot room can strain your heart? That got my attention. I looked into it, and she was right. As we age, our bodies don't regulate temperature as well as they used to. We don't sweat as efficiently. Our circulation slows. And when we sleep in a warm environment, it forces our heart to work harder to cool us down. That's especially dangerous if you already have high blood pressure or any kind of heart condition. It also affects your sleep cycle. Deep sleep, the kind that restores memory, boosts immunity, and helps you feel rested, requires a slight drop in core body temperature. When your room is too warm, your body can't cool down properly, and you stay in a lighter, more restless sleep. I decided to test this for myself. I turned the thermostat down to 65 degrees Fahrenheit, traded the heavy blankets for lightweight cotton sheets, and I opened a small window for fresh air. The difference was almost immediate. I woke up less. I felt cooler, more comfortable, and far more rested in the morning. Now, I can't imagine going back. If you're waking up feeling hot, uncomfortable, or just not fully rested, your bedroom temperature might be the quiet culprit. And while warmth isn't the only thing affecting your body's sleep signals, light can be just as disruptive, especially when it comes from the wrong sources at the wrong time. Let's move on to how light exposure in the evening can silently steal your sleep and how to fix it. 4. Ignoring the impact of light exposure. Before bed, every night before bed, I had the same routine. I'd finish dinner, turn on the TV, scroll through my phone a bit, maybe check the news. Then I'd switch off the lights and expect sleep to come quickly. But it didn't. Instead, I'd lie in bed staring at the ceiling, my mind wide awake, my body restless. I blamed aging, stress, even the mattress, never once thinking the light from my screen could be the problem. But it was. It turns out that light, especially blue light from TVs, tablets, and smartphones, directly interferes with your brain's ability to produce melatonin. Melatonin is the hormone that tells your body it's time to sleep. As we age, we naturally produce less of it. So when we surround ourselves with bright lights late into the evening, it throws off our internal clock even more. It's like trying to fall asleep while standing in sunlight. My friend June shared how she started dimming her lights and turning off screens an hour before bed. She swapped TV time for a soft bedside lamp and a paperback book. And the difference? She started falling asleep faster and staying asleep longer. So I gave it a try. I turned off the bright overhead lights after dinner and used a small lamp instead. I left my phone in the kitchen. I started winding down with calm music or just sitting in quiet. The results were almost immediate. My body felt calmer. My eyes got heavier sooner. I wasn't fighting against myself to fall asleep. The truth is, your brain needs darkness to know it's time to rest. When you flood it with artificial light, even unintentionally, you delay sleep and disrupt your entire rhythm. If you've been struggling to fall asleep, consider what your eyes are exposed to after sunset. A small change in lighting can lead to a big change in rest. But there's another piece many people miss: how your sleeping position can affect your breathing, your heart, and even your safety during the night. Let's talk about why the way you sleep might be silently hurting your health. 5. Sleeping in a position that disrupts breathing or circulation. For years, I slept flat on my back. It felt natural, comfortable. I never gave it a second thought. But in my 70s, I started waking up feeling groggy, with a dry mouth, a racing heart, and sometimes even a slight headache. I thought it was just part of getting older, until my partner noticed something one night. "You stop breathing in your sleep," she said. I laughed it off at first, but deep down, I knew something wasn't right. What I learned later shocked me. Sleeping on your back, especially after 70, can silently increase the risk of sleep apnea, poor circulation, and even nighttime heart strain. As we age, our muscle tone changes. That includes the muscles in our throat and airway. When we sleep on our backs, gravity pulls those relaxed tissues backward, narrowing the airway. The result? Snoring, disrupted breathing, and drops in oxygen, sometimes without you even noticing. My friend Robert, 76, always slept on his back too. His wife used to hear him gasping for air during the night. He finally went to the doctor and was diagnosed with sleep apnea. His sleeping position had been putting dangerous strain on his heart for years. Even beyond breathing issues, posture matters. Studies have shown that sleeping on your right side can increase pressure on the heart, especially for people with cardiovascular conditions. So what's the safest position? Experts recommend sleeping on your left side. It promotes better blood flow, supports heart function, and can even ease digestion and reduce acid reflux. It wasn't easy to change, but I started using a body pillow to keep myself in place. I also elevated my head slightly with a supportive pillow. After a few nights, it became routine, and the improvement was worth it. I felt more rested, less foggy, and even noticed fewer nighttime awakenings. The way you sleep can either help your body rest or work against it. And the older we get, the more that positioning matters. But there's one more mistake that many seniors make, and it's not physical at all. It's believing that poor sleep is just something they have to accept. Let's finish with the most important shift of all: rethinking what aging really means when it comes to sleep. 6. Brushing off restless sleep as just aging. For a long time, I told myself the same thing most people my age do. Of course I don't sleep like I used to. I'm older now. It felt like a fact of life. I'd wake up 3 or 4 times a night, lie there staring at the ceiling, and just accept it. Friends said the same. Doctors gave a shrug. So I learned to live tired. But deep down, I kept wondering, is this really how it has to be? Then I met someone who changed my mind. At a community workshop, I sat next to a woman named Eleanor, 82, sharp as ever. She talked about how she used to struggle with sleep too, until she started tracking her habits. What she ate when she exercised, how much light she got during the day, even her thoughts before bed. She said something that stuck with me. Getting older changes your sleep, but it doesn't have to ruin it. That was the moment I realized I had been giving up too soon. Yes, aging affects sleep patterns. Melatonin production drops. Your sleep becomes lighter. Your body wakes more easily. But that doesn't mean poor sleep is unavoidable. What I learned is that many sleep problems after 70 are caused by fixable habits, not just aging itself. Once I stopped brushing it off and started being curious, things began to shift. I adjusted my room temperature, changed my nighttime routine, paid more attention to light exposure, stopped drinking water late, and little by little my sleep improved. Not perfect, but better, more restful, more consistent. So if you've been waking up tired, don't just blame your age. Start asking questions, start experimenting, start believing that it can get better, because accepting poor sleep as your new normal might be the one thing standing between you and feeling truly rested again. Now that we've covered these 6 simple but powerful fixes, let's take a moment to bring it all together and talk about what this means for your health, your energy, and your peace of mind. Final thoughts. You deserve rest, not just sleep. Sleep isn't just a routine. It's one of the most powerful ways your body heals, restores, and protects itself. And after 70, when your body works harder to stay balanced, restful sleep isn't a luxury. It's a necessity. But here's the truth many people overlook. Most sleep problems at this stage of life aren't just because of age. They're the result of habits we've never been taught to question. Whether it's drinking too much water before bed, sleeping in the wrong position, keeping your room too warm, or brushing it all off as normal, each of these things adds up. And together they can steal your rest, your energy, and even your health. The good news is you're not stuck with poor sleep. With a few small changes, you can give your body the conditions it needs to rest deeply again. You can wake up feeling refreshed instead of exhausted, and most importantly, you can feel like yourself again. So take a moment and ask yourself, which of these habits have been affecting your sleep the most? And more importantly, which one are you going to change first? Leave a comment below and share your thoughts. I'd love to know what resonated with you and what you plan to try tonight. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you never miss future health tips designed to help you live better at every age. You deserve more than just sleep. You deserve rest that restores you. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you in the next video.